I used to look at life from a very pessimistic lens. When I was in college, I felt very overwhelmed by all the things I was learning about society, all the things I was learning about capitalism. And for me, when I was looking at other people living their dream lives and preaching online how you should go after your dream life and go do what you want, I would get really annoyed. Like, I would look at those people and be like, it's easy for you to say that when you're rich, right? It's easy for you to say that when you're rich and happy and living your dream life, when I'm stuck here in this current reality, and that's not my reality. I was really upset that I had to pay my way through college. I was upset that I had to take out so much debt and work multiple jobs just to get myself a degree that I didn't even feel like I really even needed. I was angry, right? Because I was seeing so many people start businesses and go do these things and go take trips and I'll do all these things that they wanted to do. I even saw some people drop out of college and they were fine because they had parents who were gonna back them up and support them no matter what. I remember seeing that stuff and I remember being so angry because I knew in my heart that I didn't really wanna be in school. I knew in my heart when I got my job at Amazon that I didn't really wanna be working there, but I felt like I had to do it. It just felt so unfair that the playing field was so uneven. And at one point I was so unhappy, I was so depressed, I was anxious, I was physically getting sick because of how sad I was. And when things got that low, I realized that I had to make a complete mindset shift. I couldn't keep living life as if I was the victim. I started to realize that I had control over my life and that the only thing that was holding me back was myself. And once my mindset shifted, once I reprogrammed my mind to see my reality in a different way, even though it was still the exact same reality, but I started looking at it completely differently. And that's when I finally started being able to change my life, honestly. Without me having done that, I would not be where I am now, right? I make a lot of videos about working towards your goals and motivation and discipline and putting in the work, and that's all really, really important, but you can't do any of those things until you reprogram your mind and look at your current reality from a different lens. So I'm gonna share with you guys some things that really helped me reprogram my mind, which sounds so stupid, but you guys know what I mean. Like how I completely looked at the world from a different way to start changing my life. Back in like 2018, 2019, I started really getting into spirituality and I started realizing how much of my life I was not actually happy with. I started realizing that I was partying way too much and going out too much. I felt like I should be working my ass off for a 4.0 and actively applying to 9-to-5 jobs for when I graduated school. And all these things I felt like I should be doing, when in reality, I kind of started to realize as I was writing these things down, at this point in my life, I started to realize that school wasn't really teaching me what I really needed to be successful. I didn't need a 9-to-5 to be happy. I didn't need to continue being in school to be happy. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be healthy and be happy. I didn't want to be partying all the time, right? I started really recognizing things that were serving me and things that were not. So I encourage you to first start questioning, start observing everything in your life and asking yourself what is actually fulfilling you and what is not. There are so many things that we're taught in the society in terms of what we should be doing, what route we should be taking. And if you really want to create your dream world, if you really want to change your life, you have to really start unlearning to really understand what you actually want from life, right? If you've been told your whole life that you have to go to college and you have to go get a 9-to-5 and you maybe have to work in the medical industry, if your parents your entire life put all this pressure on you, you have to unlearn those things, and it's gonna take work for you to start figuring out what you actually want from life. Start asking yourself, like, yes, is your job serving you? Is school serving you? But also ask yourself, like, are your friends serving you? Are your relationships serving you, right? How are you spending your time and how are you wasting your time? And as you start kind of figuring out what your passions are, you can then really hone in on what you actually want out of life, which sounds like such a simple question, but sometimes it's really, really hard to understand what that actually is when we're wasting a lot of our time exerting our energy into things that we don't actually feel fulfilled by. And as you start discovering what you actually want out of life, you may start to find that there's a lot of things that you're doing, like school or your job that are really not fulfilling you. And unless you come from wealth or parents who are down to support you and able to support you no matter what you do, unfortunately, a lot of us can't just pick up and leave and just say bye to working our 9 to 5, right? A lot of us can't just pick up in the middle of being in school and realize that we don't like it and just quit, right? Because for me, I know I took out a lot of student loan debt. So I was like, I'm just gonna have to get this degree. And this is where it can feel really, really easy to feel stuck. But this is where I encourage you to start recognizing what are the essentials and what are the non-essentials in your life. And by that, I mean, what are the things that you have to do? What are the things that you are going to have to continue doing for a little bit to get by? And what are the things that you can actually cut out? If you have to work a 9 to 5 to pay the bills, you're gonna have to keep doing that until you find another stream of income. Or maybe you're at a place in your life where you don't wanna be living with your parents, but you have to because of financial reasons, right? Those are things that you can't really control. But there are things that you might find that are not serving you that you actually can cut out of your life, right? So looking at your friendships, if there's any toxic friendships or any people that you're constantly wasting time with, if there's people that you're constantly partying with and drinking with, and you know in your heart that it's not actually fulfilling you and you're wasting your time doing it, those are things that you can cut out immediately. How you're treating your body, right? How often you're working out, how often you're meditating and praying, and your spiritual relationship. Those are things that you can control. It's not always gonna be easy, but those are things that you can actually control about your life. You'll start to realize that even if you're still in school, or even if you're working a 9 to 5 that you don't actually care about, you might have more time than you think to work on what you actually want to do. You might have more time than you think to work on your passion if you spend less time on social media or you spend less time hanging out with toxic people, right? So I really, really encourage you to figure out what you can cut out, what you can do, what you can control about your life right now to get you closer to where you actually want to be. I had a lot of student loan debt. I didn't have parents who were just paying my bills for me, so I knew I had to graduate with my degree so I could get a 9 to 5 and pay my bills. But once I knew that I didn't want to do these things, I recognized that I could put in a certain level of effort and still get by with these things. I didn't have to overexert my energy. I didn't have to emotionally invest myself in school or work in order to succeed at them. I stopped trying so hard to get a 4.0 GPA. I didn't need a 4.0, right? I could get a C and I could still get a degree. I stopped emotionally investing myself into the typical American education system that teaches you that grades are important. So I started putting in minimal effort and I started getting more of my time back. Same thing goes with the 9 to 5, right? If you're working from home, you've probably already started to learn that you do not have to put in as many hours as you once thought into your 9 to 5. Put in the amount of effort that you need to keep your job, and after that, peace out, right? Clock out, do what you need to do, and go work on your side hustle. Recognize that your current circumstance is a game. Play the game, do what you gotta do to play the game, and constantly recognize and remember that you are playing a game. I think a lot of people get really tripped up and it gets really, really hard sometimes because we are taught in society, especially if you went to college and you felt like you had to excel and do all these things, we're taught to go hard at what we do. We're taught to go hard in school for no reason, right? We're taught to go hard for our employer, to get our employer richer. It can be depressing when you know what you actually want to be doing. But for me, it was even more depressing to be disillusioned and try to convince myself that I cared about a job that I didn't care about. You do not have to overexert your emotional energy into your job. You don't have to overexert your energy physically, period, into a job. You can stay working remote, even if you have to job hop, go do it, right? So you can put in more time to do the things that you actually want to do. Once you've gotten rid of the things that are not serving you and that you can control, and then you've emotionally detached yourself from the things that are not serving you but that you cannot control, then you have more time to work on the things that you actually want, right? You have more time to work on building your dream life. Even when you start emotionally detaching yourself from the things that are not serving you, it's still so much of an emotional and spiritual and mental effort to start building your dream reality. Start visualizing your future self and where you see yourself and who you want to be, and start manifesting it and scripting it, right? I have a whole video on how I do manifestation if you guys want to go watch that. You also really want to look at your limiting beliefs, right? What is holding you back? What are your fears and what are your insecurities and doubts, and where are they coming from? Shadow work really, really helps with this. And once you start really recognizing your limiting beliefs and your fears and your doubts and all the things that are holding you back, like mentally, mentally, that's when you can really start finding practical solutions for them. So I really started looking at like the things that I felt like were holding me back mentally from doing what I wanted, and I really started laying out like step-by-step things that I can do to get past them, right? So I really encourage you to start doing this. Start writing down where you see yourself in the future, what you plan to do, start manifesting these things, start scripting them, and then start figuring out what your limiting beliefs are and what practical solutions you can find to solve them. There's so many examples of different ways that you can do this. You can start making a list of all the things that you need to do to start your YouTube channel, right? You can start making a list of all the things that you need to do to start your business. You guys know I always say, if you're gonna start a business or you wanna start putting yourself out there in any kind of way, at least create a website for yourself. Get on some kind of platform for you to start putting yourself out there. You guys know I always recommend Squarespace. I'm excited that Squarespace is sponsoring this video again because you guys know I love them. They are the perfect platform for you to use for you to start putting yourself out there. If you wanna start a blog, they have the most robust blogging features, so you can create an entire community on your Squarespace blog. If you need to start raising money for a business, you can start collecting donations through PayPal or Venmo or Stripe or a bunch of different payment platforms on Squarespace. If you're trying to start a social presence, if you're on different platforms and you don't know how to connect them all, you can at least create a Squarespace website and put them all in one place so you can direct people to one place. So again, tools like Squarespace make it so easy to get started with what you actually want to do. So you guys can go to squarespace.com/LynetteAtkins to get 10% off. And yeah, thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope this was helpful in some way. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you feel like has been holding you back the most from creating your dream life? What has been the biggest area where you need to reprogram your mentality and get past negative thoughts and fears and doubts? Because I know for me, a lot of the things that society told me I had to be doing, it took a long time for me to start realizing that I didn't really have to do them. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.